Good evening or good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you today. I am Nathalie, International Project Advisor at Business Solutions Atlantic France. Our objective today is that you learn the latest about the health and biotech sector in Atlantic France. So, next slide. Just a technical issue. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so I'm very happy to welcome our speakers and experts. Jessica Walker and Linda Guerino will present Atlampol Biotherapy, our regional healthcare cluster. Mathieu Evrard from Nantes Sanitaire Development will make a focus on Nantes life sciences ecosystem. And we will give the floor to regional innovative companies, Camille Marini, CTO of Okin, Chuan Nguyen, CEO of Gulliver Therapeutics, and Eric Leforestier, Managing Director of Naobius. They will tell us about their activity and their projects. Just to make sure, there will of course be time for questions. Please see Jessica and Kathy's instruction on the chat. And the webinar is registered and we'll send you the link afterwards. Okay. So let's start our webinar. To start with, I would like to say a few words about Atlantic France. As you can see on the map, our region is located between the Atlantic Ocean and Paris. Thanks to our TGV and the Nantes Atlantic International Airport, we are well connected to the rest of France and to the main European cities. Our region is on the cutting edge in biotechnologies and boasts a dense network of innovative players, academics, research centers, and companies. Some of these companies are world leaders in their field, as you will discover with our speakers from Okin, Gulliver, and Naobius. Within the context of COVID-19, of course, you've heard about Valneva and Xenotera, for example, and their research on COVID-19 vaccine and treatment. But perhaps you didn't know that they are located in Atlantic France. Thanks to the expertise of all these actors, Atlantic France is at the forefront of the French biotech sector and research. And before giving the floor to our experts, I would like to share with you a video of GSK in Mayenne. Even if Mr. Dalaval handed over to a new site director last year, his testimony remains of interest as it points out the reasons why GSK decided to set up in Mayenne to produce penicillin.
My name is Jessica Walker and I'm the European Project Manager at Atlampol Biotherapies. So Atlampol Biotherapies is a health cluster in health innovation in Western France. Just to give you a bit of an overview of France as a whole in this regard, so we have 6 health clusters in France based in different territories, and each of the health clusters has their own speciality. So at Atlampol Biotherapies, we're specialized in innovative therapies and personalized medicine. And between all of the health clusters together, we have 1,300 members. So to say a little bit more about Atlampol Biotherapies, we cover 3 regions. So Atlantic France, that Nathalie mentioned earlier, Brittany, and Centre-Val de Loire, which are the three regions you can see on the map. And we have 4 contact points in these 3 regions. So we have 1 in Brittany, 2 in Pays de la Loire, and 1 in Centre-Val de Loire. So we are a cluster of excellence in 6 areas. So this is immunotherapy, regenerative medicine, and we will be hearing shortly from Gulliver Therapeutics, who will be talking more about their innovative company a bit later on, radiopharmaceuticals, digital and e-health, so we'll also be hearing from Okin, nutrition and microbiota, and animal health. So these 3 axes that you see on the right of the screen are transversal axes, and then the other 3 that you see on the left are the historical axes that we've worked on since the beginning. We also have skills in biomanufacturing, and we're going to be hearing from Naobius very shortly. So to say a little bit more about the members that we have in our cluster, we have over 150 companies. And these companies cover medtech, biotech, e-health, services and consulting, as well as big pharma. And we also have higher education organizations, health organizations and establishments, and laboratories and research institutes. And I think it's important to say that our members, they cover every stage of the development of biomolecules. So this is to give you a brief overview. Everyone will receive the slides. I know there's a lot of logos on there, but you'll receive this shortly after the presentation. So the types of members that we have, obviously I don't have time to go into detail of all 200 members, but we thought we'd give some examples of some innovative companies we have in the region. So maybe starting with OZI Immunotherapeutics. So this was a company that was originally called F-Immune, that was started in Nantes in 2007. And this startup came from the Institute of Urology, Nephrology, Transplantation in Nantes. So in 2016, they merged with OC Pharma, which was based in Paris, to become OC Immunotherapeutics. And now they're focused on developing innovative immunotherapies for immune activation and regulation in the fields of immuno-oncology and autoimmune diseases. So that's one example. And also, of course, as Natalie also mentioned, we have Valneva, which was originally a company called Vivalis, which was created in 1999 in Nantes and was a spin-off of the Grimo Group. And in 2012, Vivalis merged with an Austrian company, Intercell, to become Valneva. So the headquarters are of the Grimo Group are in Rousset, in Anjou. And as you know, Valneva is currently working on developing a vaccine for COVID-19. And the UK government has bought 100 million doses of this recently, and they're also working on a vaccine against chikungunya and Lyme disease. So they're just two examples, but again, you'll receive the slides and you can have a look at all of the innovative companies that we have in the region, and we're going to hear very shortly from some more as well. So I just go very quickly through the next slides, just to kind of demonstrate the companies that we have. To say a little bit as well about we're very present at European level, so we work a lot with European partners. We're a member of the board of the Council of European Bioregions, and we're involved in 3 European projects, which are all based on helping companies to internationalize. So we have Interreg projects, and we also have COSME projects from the European Union, and we're always open to new projects that we can be involved in that can help the companies to internationalize. Okay, so we have some upcoming events. So we have WhatsApp Days. We organize our General Assembly in June, the 29th of June in 2021, and we're going to be organizing some international congresses hosted in Nantes in 2022. So this will be Nutri event, which is based on food, feed, and nutrition, and ISRS, which is radiopharmaceutical sciences. So if you're interested in hearing more about these events, don't hesitate to contact us, and particularly Linda, who can tell you more about this. And we're also going to be co-organizing an international congress in Belgium in 2022 called BioRegate. So if you're interested in any of these events, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Very quickly then, some upcoming calls for projects. I'm just going to go through this very quickly. We are, as I mentioned before, we're always open to partnering with other projects. So I've listed here in the presentation some examples of the projects that we could be interested in partnering in, and you'll see these as well in the slides. But again, please don't hesitate to contact us. We have a team of professionals ready to listen and to help you. So I will then give the floor back to Natalie. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jessica and Linda. Well, I will now give the floor to Mathieu. First, he will make focus on Nantes life sciences ecosystem, and second, he will moderate the session with our 3 companies presenting their activity and projects. So, Mathieu, the floor is yours.
Hello, nice to meet you, everyone. I'm going to show you my slide. So I'm Mathieu Evroir, BD manager for the health sector in Nantes-Saint-Nazaire Development. I will give you a short presentation and focus on our life science cluster in Nantes. I'm going to switch off my my webcam. It will be easier for my connection. Sorry. So first, who we are, Non-Saint-Nazaire Development. We are the economic promotion agency of the city of Nantes on Saint-Nazaire. Our main job is to attract and support all external companies wishing to launch an activity in our region. So our main job is to attract and support what we call foreign direct investment, especially. We are funded by 3 local authorities, Nantes Metropolitan Area, Saint-Nazaire Metropolitan Area, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Nantes and Saint-Nazaire. Life science industry is one of our priority sectors, so I'm dealing with it. And we are also focused on the attraction of investors, talent, and professional events. What we can do for companies, so all our services are free of charge, and we are mainly focused on providing economic data about the region to facilitate the decision-making of investors. We seek out a real estate solution to match the needs of the company. We offer recruitment services to recruit talent and staff. We also welcome employees that will have to move to set up in Nantes, offering them personalized support, for instance, to find accommodation, job for the schools for children. And we also introduce investors to the local networks and ecosystem. So we are here to open doors easier. Where we are, Nantes, as Nathalie said, Nantes is the main city in Western France, 2 hours by train from Paris. Very good connection with more than 80 European cities by plane, and we also have an international major seaport with connection to more than 400 seaports in the world. Nantes is a very attractive city, the 6th city in France. We have welcomed 50,000 newcomers since 8 years in Nantes, so very attractive city, very attractive areas. A major center for higher education also. Such schools like Centrale Nantes and IMT Atlantique are among the 10 best French engineering schools, for instance, in France. Nantes is the first city in France for growth of private sector jobs recently, and we have been mobilized by the EU in 2019 European Capital of Innovation. So now let's focus on our health sector with some key figures. We have approximately not 180 companies employing 6,000 people, representing 1.5 billion euro of turnover. And traditionally, Nantes is a land of biotechnologies with good science and research that explain a lot of startups have emerged from academia. As you may know that west of France is a European leader in food industry. So nutrition has appeared as a rapidly growing sector in Nantes also. And finally, health and medtech are expanding rapidly in Nantes, and it offers opportunities. I keep on. A few words about our research ecosystem. We have cutting-edge research team from obviously Nantes University Hospital and the University of Nantes, but also in Nantes we have many teams, many research teams from a famous French research institute, INSERM, CNRS, INRAE, and we also have a vet school called ONIRIS. And we have a Western France Cancer Institute. Our main fields of excellence in research, especially oncology and hematology, immunotherapy and cell and gene therapy, nuclear medicine and radiopharmaceuticals, and digestive diseases and nutrition. It represents around 2,000 health research staff, and we also have 20 technological platforms. We are the first center in France for nuclear oncology and also first center for early phase clinical trials, especially in hematology. Two main partners for clinical research, Nantes University Hospital Center and the Institute of Cancer Research for Western France. And as you can see on the slide, big focus on, I would say, oncology and cancer. Let's talk about West Biotherapy. It's a one-stop shop for advanced therapy medicinal products, starting from benchtop research to phase 3 clinical trials. French blood establishment and academic and hospital teams are involved in this consortia and could be a good partners for startups and big pharma also, biotech company. E-health business and activity are rapidly expanding in Nantes, capitalizing on the fact that the city has become a place to invest in digital industry recently. Nantes University Hospital has been the second hospital in France to launch its research data warehouse. So it offers opportunity to access to data for companies which want to cooperate with the hospital, especially. Last year, our regional incubator at Lampol has launched a new accelerator program for innovative project in e-health, a high Internet of Things of MedTech project. Here you have some success stories, I would say, companies, groups that choose to invest in Nantes. So we will have testimonials of Gulliver, Hawkin, and Neobios, which is part of Clean Biologics. But I can speak about Eurofins, the world lab testing leader for life science. Eurofins is a native company from Nantes. Let's talk about Biofortis, the famous CRO devoted to health and nutrition. It has been acquired by Merio Group several years ago. Ferricides Pharma is a young phagotherapy company that develops natural viruses to fight antimicrobial resistance. And Ferricides just succeeded its IPO on the French market. And finally, Doctolib, you may have heard about Doctolib, the e-health French unicorn that chose Nantes last year to open its their second headquarters of Paris, and they will create 500 jobs in Nantes. One of the big projects in the city of Nantes will be the future health district and its new hospital. So currently, Nantes University Hospital has, I would say, several buildings scattered all over the city. And the project is to build a new hospital in the city center in what we call the island of Nantes, the Hill of Nantes, if you want. So it's the largest hospital project in France to be completed by 2026. 10 hectares of total land area, 1 billion euro of investment. So it will be a new district dedicated to healthcare activities. The idea is to mix on a unique site innovation, care, research, and teaching in the healthcare sector, obviously. And it will offer real estate solutions at the heart of the city with a special new flagship building that will be launched in the upcoming years, dedicated to innovation in healthcare sector. Here you can find some perspective showing you the future hospital. And to finish my speech, I have chosen some pictures to illustrate the good quality of life you can find in the area. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mathieu. Now we will welcome our guest speakers, Camille Marini, CTO of Okin, Swan Nguyen, CEO of Gulliver Therapeutics, and Eric Le Forestier, Managing Director for Now Bios. And Mathieu will...
Yeah, I will keep on speaking and I would say animating the discussion. So if you want, let's start with Tran. So Tran, nice to meet you. Thank you for being at our webinar, our first testimonial. So can you just introduce yourself, Tran, and your background and your company?
Okay, good morning, everybody. So it's a pleasure to be with you today. So I'm Tian Nguyen, I'm an INSAM researcher. And for many years, more than 10 years, I conducted research in Nantes to try to cure liver disease that is responsible for more than 2 million deaths per year worldwide because there's no cure except organ transplantations. And then our research was sponsored by the Union Europe, and it was very well. And then we had the idea to create the company Gulliver Therapeutics to implement this academic research into biotech and to make products to activate the patients. And so we are now at 3 years of the creations, and we are now still at the preclinical stage, and we want to go to the clinic within 2-3 years. So I can tell you more about then the story, how we grow to make the biotech later.
Okay. What do you find in Nantes environment, I would say, Nantes ecosystem to accelerate your project and your startup?
So the key is it's very good to have to make science in Nantes because, as you mentioned, all the ecosystems. And I have to point out that when I was a postdoc, I went to Nantes as an INSAM researcher because there is a very dynamic academic research. People are open-minded and they want all to go together to develop new projects. And what doing Gulliver is we make cell therapy products using a very breakthrough technology, which is pluripotent stem cells. And nobody know how to make this type of cells, how to use these cells. And within 10 years, we are now at Biotherapeutic. We make EPS platform. We make, as a researcher, Bioregate, which is a consortium that gather all the researchers in liver in regenerative medicine. And then for biotech, it is also a good place. I developed that because it is very dynamic to allow startup like me, like a researcher like me, to have a casket of and a CEO, and to transform an academic into a guy that understands what is a product and what is how to go to the market. That's really good support by Compaul for all the structural validations, the Association of Nantes, and they all support Gullivers to find some a place. So a place within the Association of Nantes at the university where I can conduct my research. And last point is that in Nantes, what is important for us is that to produce the cells at the GMP levels. So in the region, we have full structure of GMP to like this product. So meaning that I can conduct and grow my biotech in Nantes because all these facilities, including now BIOS, that just created last years, that joined the facilities. So as you see, we're pleased that the region is grow in the good way for biotech.
Okay, and to finish, can you tell us what kind of partners would it be interesting to have in Nantes? New partners, new companies. Can you tell us?
I think for Gulliver, what is important now is to grow the company. So meaning that how we can grow outside France. So we are looking some structural partners that will allow Gulliver to go to the US, to Japan, and also to implement the GMP productions because it is the key on how Gulliver can think it can go to the market after the phase 3 trials. And Navios could be one part of this story.
Okay. Thank you, John, for the discussion. So I will keep on discussing with Eric Le Forestier from Neobios, General Manager of Neobios. Nice to meet you, Eric. Can you tell us who is Neobios and introduce yourself?
Okay, hello Mathieu, hello everyone. My name is Eric Le Forestier. I'm a managing director of Neobios. Actually, I was trained at the local University of Pharmacy here in Nantes. And after 20 years working for the pharmaceutical industry or biotech industry in France, in the US, UK, Belgium, and Japan, eventually I came back to Nantes last summer to become the general manager of Neobios. So Neobios is a CDMO, so contract development and manufacturing organization that is specialized in manufacturing viruses that could be used in 3 main therapeutic areas. So viral vaccines, so as a prophylaxis for infectious disease, oncolytic viruses in order to treat cancer, and lastly, viral vectors in order to be used in gene and cell therapy. So Neobios has a deep know-how in manufacturing of cell banks and viral banks, both GMP and non-GMP. We have also an expertise in process development, upstream process and downstream process. And we can manufacture GMP batches for clinical trial, phase 1 and phase 2. And we also have our own QC lab, so we can develop our own analytical method. And you mentioned also that we are part of Clean Biologics. Clean Biologics also has Clean Cells as a company, so which is further south of Nantes, which is specializing in biosafety testing. We are also a pharmaceutical establishment registered, with the local authorities, And just to give you an idea of our size, we've got 40 employees and customers from all over the world, US, Asia, and Europe.
Okay. Can you precise us how do you cooperate with the local ecosystem, local environment in Nantes?
Okay, so first, I mean, we have really a local history here. NowBios, got its name in 2019 when it was acquired by the Clean Biologics Group. But it's actually a site, a facility that was developed in 2005. At the time, it was Vivalis, which eventually became now Valneva. And so we have also a strong partnership with Cell, as I mentioned. In terms of development, what we find in the local environment is actually a lot of what you mentioned earlier. So we've got local schools, which gives us actually a good mix of talents. There is Oniris that can actually, where actually we've got a lot of engineers coming from this school. We also have the local university. Actually, there's also a specialty in this university about innovative therapies. And we also have, good schools in order to train technicians, because we need a balance of PhD engineers and technicians. There's also, as you mentioned, a good network of INSERM, so health research laboratories, so public laboratories. And so we are in contact with laboratories manufacturing oncolytic viruses and also viral viruses. And you also mentioned that there is local capacity to manufacture cellular therapy. And last but not least, Nantes is a city that is that gives a very good quality of life, and that from a logistical standpoint is also very easy to go to.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eric, for your testimonial. Very interesting to learn about your activity and the reason why you decided to create the company here. I will finish with Camille Marini from Hawkin. Do you hear me, Camille?
Yes, I do hear you.
Yeah. So you are CTO of the famous startup. Many people talk about Hawkin. Can you introduce yourself and explain us who is Hawkin?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Camille Marini, so Chief Technology Officer at Hawkin. So I'm not from Nantes. I'm originally from the south of France, but I was happy to discover this new city. So who is Hawkin? So Hawkin is a startup, and we do machine learning in order to accelerate the medical research, and ultimately to try to find better drugs. So more specifically, we mainly work with histology data and genomic data, and using this data either from hospitals or pharmaceutical company, we try to create knowledge in the field of oncology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Can you explain us why did Hawkin decide to invest in Nantes? It was 3 years ago, I guess.
Yes.
What was the context of this setup?
Okay, so we decided to open an office in Nantes 3 years ago. So the company was founded 4 years ago. So it had 1 year when we opened an office in Nantes. And at that time, we had an office in New York and an office in Paris. So our first motivation to open an office in Nantes was to find a place offering a good quality of life to our employees. So we looked for cities not too far from Paris and not too big, but still very dynamic. And Nantes appears to be the best solution for this. And our second motivation to open an office in Nantes was to be close to the Nantes University Hospital Center, which is a very dynamic hospitals and open to new innovation. So as you illustrated, Mathieu, in your presentation. So these were our two main motivations to open an office in Nantes.
Okay. And what do you find in Nantes environment, I would say, that is your development, is your expansion?
So the first thing that we found in Nantes when we arrived is a very welcoming environment. And in particular, we felt very welcomed by Nantes and Saint-Nazaire Development and also at Lampol Biotherapy. They introduced us to the ecosystem, to the healthcare the local ecosystem of the area, and it was very helpful. They also, Nantes and Saint-Nazaire Development also helped us to find an office and to relocate our employees, the one who wanted to come to Nantes and we were previously not in Nantes. We also found a very good quality of life. I mean, we have now office in London, Paris, New York, and Nantes, and I think our coworkers in Nantes are the luckiest one. We can come to the office by foot or by bike, and I think it's a very nice way of life. It's and thus it makes it possible for us to attract talent. And especially, I mean, our company is made of software engineers and data scientists. And in order to attract them and attract senior people, it's Nantes is a good, I would say, a good advantage.
Okay. So quite the same as Eric said previously. What kind of collaborations are you looking for? It could be locally, but also internationally for the audience. What kind of partners are you looking for?
So locally, so we've been introduced to the local ecosystem by Nantes and Saint-Nazaire Development. And so on direct collaboration, we work a lot with Nantes, with Nantes hospitals center, which is a very dynamic one. And I mean, we have several projects with them. And so this is for direct collaboration, mainly with these hospitals. And then more on indirect collaboration, we are now based in a co-working space with many other startups, and which is good in order to exchange on technologies that we use and for instance. And okay. So this is for the local ecosystem, and then we work with, I mean, externally from Nantes, we work with hospitals and pharmaceutical company. And so being in Nantes makes it possible for us to easily go to Paris when we need to go there, and then be in any other city, or directly take a flight from Nantes to any other city. So it's it's a perfect location for us.
Okay, thank you for your testimonial. Let's speak to my colleagues. Do we have some question about the audience for our panel of companies? Linda, Jessica, or Natalie, or Cathy? Sorry.
I'm here. Hi.
Hi,
I have a couple of questions that have come in from the audience. One that's directed to you, Mathieu, and to Solutions Eco and at Lampol, which is which international events you're either planning to attend this year or attend again in the future.
Okay.
Do you want to answer that
Jessica,
question?
do you want to respond, Jessica?
Yeah, sure. So for that question, this year we're attending Bio Europe Spring and Bio US, and we're also going to be attending Medica We have a list of events that we attend every year, so they're the main ones this year that we'll be attending. And as I mentioned, we're also next year, hopefully when we'll be able to travel, we'll also be hosting some international events in Nantes as well.
Regarding Nantes and Hazard Development, I will attend BioEurope. We don't know the city to host BioEurope yet, but I will attend it. I will visit also Expo in Paris, a trade show dedicated to e-health and medtech. And I will attend Vita Foods Europe in Geneva, I think in June.
Okay, thank you. Jessica, Cathy, do we have other questions?
I have one more question, which would be more for the companies. Thank you very much for your testimonials so far. Camille, I think you touched on the international markets with which you work, but Eric and Juan, could you maybe say a little bit more about international markets that you're interested in the future?
Yes, so I mentioned that the US market, of course, is a market where I would like to go, and the Asia. So I'm looking for some partners to build a pattern how we can build a business over there, because I don't know much how we can access the funding or to make a structure to find some people that help us for that. So all around how to make a subsidiary of the company or something like that. Yeah, so just remember that we're still a young company, 3 years old only. I'm researchers. So even we have a lot of connection via Paul and so on. So I think we need a representative to these territories.
Okay, thank you.
And for NowBios, so as I mentioned, we've got currently customers from all over the world. I guess it's because currently we've got a shortage in capacity for the manufacturing of viruses, both clinical grade and GMP grade. And we've been approached naturally, I would say, because I guess, since it's a small field, there's a lot of word of mouth. Even if we are also present on some congress, most, currently, of course, it's a virtual congress. But as soon as circumstances will allow, we'll be back physically on key congress representing NowBios. In terms of partnership. We are currently looking for capacity for fill and finish because we are limited in terms of this capacity. And so any companies that would be interested in settling down in the area, I guess there would be a good opportunity not only to make business with us but also with other companies.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, are there other questions, Cathy?
Nope, that was all the questions we had. Thank you.
Okay, so many thanks to you three for this interesting information, which perfectly illustrate our regional assets in biotechnology. And we hope that it gave you a taste of, and perhaps more than that in the future, of the attractivity of our region. Just a few seconds. Okay, well, we are now approaching the end of the webinar. Many thanks to our experts and thanks to our guests for attending this session. As a final point, please let me remind you, as Mathieu told you, that we, Solutions & Co, together with the Nantes and Angers agencies, we are offering free support to develop your project in Atlantic France. We connect you with our ecosystem, we help you find premises, we support you in your recruitment process, we provide information on legal and tax issues, and we will be pleased to welcome you for a business trip in our region as soon as we can travel again. So if there is no other questions, I will thank you once again, and we remain at your disposal, and we will send you the link to this, the registration of the webinar and the presentation as well. Mathieu, perhaps you would like to add something?
No, I would like to thank you, Nathalie, for the organization, and Jessica, Cathy, and Linda from Atlampol Biotherapies to organize this first webinar for health sector in the region.
Thank you to all of you, and good evening or have a good day for those of you who are in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
Thank you to the testimony for the testimonials.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Je vais